Blam!
Death cakes.
Welcome to another episode of Movie Morons. I'm your host Jackson, and this is my awesome co-host Holden.
Hey guys, how you doing?
As always, guys, we're going to pitch some crazy movies for you today, and boy, do we have some crazy ones for you. So, today, we're tackling James Bond. 007!
007 himself. So, as always, of course, I'm sit here and forced to listen to your crazy movie pitches. I'm sure today's no different. But you're tackling somebody I kind of like. I like James Bond movies, you know. What type of pitch do you have for us today?
Well, for one, I'd like to say, crazy, come on, guys. I think usually they're pretty damn good. 2, this one is going to be pretty damn good, too. 3, I'm not a fan of James Bond. And 4, Daniel Craig, as we know, is he's out the door. He doesn't want to do another James Bond. He'd rather kill himself or something before he does another James Bond, I think he said.
Yeah, he did.
It's a direct quote.
Yeah.
So essentially here, we're going to be working with a new Bond, new story, a whole new feel for the franchise. And I feel like, you know, the last few Bonds here, you know, Daniel Craig got pretty cool here with his sort of badassness and stuff. But I feel like we want to go ahead and bring a Bond here for a more American 2016 movie-going audience. More of a Fast and the Furious style audience.
Okay. Yeah, the Fast and Furious movies, of course, were very successful. Successful set of franchises.
Yeah. And, you know, they're good movies. I mean, you got some fast cars, you get some badass stunts, and that's what we want to go and bring into this here. So, the movie starts off, James Bond is getting briefed by M, who'll be played still by probably like Ray Fiennes or whatever. He gets to carry over just like Judi Dench.
Okay.
That's how M's work, I guess. And he's essentially being told that there was a recent, a huge jailbreak at Britain's version of Guantanamo Bay.
Their Guantanamo Bay?
Their Guantanamo Bay, where they keep all of the potential terrorists and, you know, all the most dangerous people in the world. And there was a breakout led by Augustus Cobb. Augustus Cobb, he's an American anti-establishmentist who wants to bring down all the governments of the world, and he was put in there for trying to kill the Queen.
Okay.
You know, probably 10 years back.
He tried to kill the Queen. Of course, they throw him in their Guantanamo Bay.
Exactly. He threw him in Guantanamo Bay. He's led a revolt of all the terrorists in Guantanamo Bay, and they broke out, and they're on the street somewhere. So they're telling James Bond this. They're like, we're putting you on the case. You're going to deal with this.
And he's like, great.
And they give him a rundown of, you know, that's the main guy. His number 2 guy is and Augustus Cobb, by the way, is being played by Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel?
Vin Diesel.
From the Fast and the Furious.
From the Fast and the Furious. I was going to go with Marky Mark at first, because I felt like, who wouldn't be a Bond villain? And I was like, Marky Mark. And so that's who would be a Bond villain in my movie.
Mark Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg. But I feel like Mark Wahlberg doesn't seem smart enough to be able to pull off this thing. Whereas Vin Diesel, he seems like he's very, charismatic. He could be a charismatic, terrorist leader, whereas Marky Mark, probably not.
Okay. I mean, I suppose. Go ahead.
His number 2 would be O'Brien. He's an Irish bomber terrorist, played by Domhnall Gleeson. He's really hot right now.
Yeah, he's in everything.
Yeah, so he's just completely nuts type character, just kind of crazy, Switchblade and, all that stuff.
Okay, he uses knives.
He uses knives, and he's got bombs strapped to him and stuff like that. He's ready to blow himself up. He's crazy. He's ready to die. He's like a really crazy guy.
Well, he's like Gary Busey in Lethal Weapon.
Sure, he's like Gary Busey in
Lethal Weapon. Because he'll put his hand over some fire. He'll try to kill you and stuff like that. He does all the fighting. Well, maybe not necessarily. But go ahead.
He doesn't do all the fighting, but he's like the number 2 guy.
Yeah, he's his number 2.
In the Bond thing, you got to have the Bond villain and you got to have the henchman. So he's the henchman.
So he's the Jaws. He's the Jaws.
He's pretty much the Jaws. Vin Diesel is the main henchman. So essentially, he goes through the rundown there. Bond is like, all right, got it. I'm going to go ahead and talk to Q. You go through all the standard Bond things. He goes and talks to Q, and he's like, here's your freaking laser pin, here's your gun that only you can use, and here's your invisible car or something.
Well, I think people don't want the invisible car, but...
They don't like the invisible? Okay, here's your visible car.
Here's a car.
Aston Martin or whatever.
Okay.
He's got something, and then
gadgets.
Q takes him over to the side, and he's like, this is the project that MI6 is. They're MI6, right?
Yeah.
MI6 has really been working on, and he takes him into this hangar right over to the side, and there's a huge war zeppelin that MI6 is creating here. They're
going back in time, and they're like, we got Zeppelin technology. That's pretty good. We should go back to
Zeppelin
that.
technology is still pretty good. I mean, nobody's going to see a Zeppelin coming. People are expecting.
I think people are going to see Zeppelins coming.
People will be expecting stealth bombers and drones and stuff, but Zeppelins? I mean, what are you going to do when a Zeppelin's coming at you? And that's what,
shoot it, and then it explodes.
well, that's what Q's telling Bond and stuff. And he was like, there's a war machine here.
And Bond's like, what if somebody just shoots it and it explodes? Well, I mean, you could say something where
he's like, it's armored, there's not
he's like, yeah, it's like armored,
in it.
and it's like, we don't use hydrogen, we've used a new compound that we've created. It's just like, hi, Bond!
Yeah, okay. So he shows him the Zeppelin and everything. Bond is like, all right, cool. So Bond goes about his own way. He's like, all right, so I'm going to do this normal way. Bond always does it. I'm going to go in, I'm going to infiltrate him, find out some things about what's going on here. And I know where Augustus Cobb has been spotted lately, and it's a downtown British nightclub. Really cool and stuff like that.
Only cool people get in.
Yeah, only cool people get in. So Bond goes, he puts on his finest tux and everything, goes down to the nightclub, and, obviously sticks out like a sore thumb. He's used to, infiltrating, balls and,
Come on, Jackson, you're so mature.
Yeah, he's used to infiltrating, fancy galas and, ballrooms and things like that, so... Now that I've regained my composure, he's used to infiltrating galas and fancy dancing.
Yeah, fancy dancing.
Dancing balls.
Damn it, Jackson.
Okay, here, you say it.
Yeah, he's usually used to infiltrating galas and black tie events and stuff like that.
Yes. So he comes into this night. So yeah, Bond's going around. He's sticking out like a sore thumb because there's people walking around in undershirts, do-rags, things like that. In this nightclub, Bond, he's dressed to the nines thinking that this is some nice nightclub. And it's actually some kind of dive nightclub. And immediately he gets spotted. They're like, that guy's a spy. They grab him, they punch him in the stomach, and they take him over to Augustus Cobb, Vin Diesel. He gives him some sort of cool Vin Diesel lecture on oh, your bullshit high society. If you won't think that you can even think about stopping me from, doing what I'm trying to do, then you got to get down and dirty. And you're not willing to do that in your fancy suits. So then they throw him out of the nightclub. And, Bond is he's affected by Vin Diesel's words. He's like, am I too, highfalutin and high society, fancy guy to be able to take down this down and dirty Vin Diesel-like criminal? I mean, I always assumed that I was better than that type of guy because I was always fighting guys who were sipping champagne, but this is a guy who likes to sit back, drink Coronas, and try and blow up Buckingham Palace or whatever. So Bond, he has a little bit of self-reflection here, soul-searching, trying to figure out what he can do. For some reason. Yeah, because, he failed immediately. He was detected and thrown
for one,
out
he
of the
should have
nightclub.
known. He should have had some sort of recon. Im should have told him, this place isn't your normal nightclub. And nobody wears a tux to a nightclub anyways.
Okay, maybe it was a suit. But anyways, he's soul searching. He's trying to figure out, like, what can I do to go ahead and beat this guy? This Augustus Cobb, he's beat me at every turn so far.
Yep. He says, he's my better.
He's my better.
He's my Joker.
So he's finally, like, goes back to MI6 to let him know, like, hey, we got to put somebody else on the case because they've already detected me. And he gets there and he finds that Augustus Cobb has already attacked MI6 and stolen the Zeppelin. Didn't see that coming, right?
I figured you laid that trap in at the beginning of the movie.
Exactly. So Augustus Cobb and his outfit of his band of terrorists have stolen the Zeppelin. They're heading straight for Buckingham Palace to crash that thing right into there. Kill the Queen, everything like that.
They kill the Queen.
They haven't killed the Queen. They're going to.
They're trying to kill her.
It's on the way, but it's the Zeppelin. It's slow. So
they haven't crashed it yet. They're trying to
No, but
crash
they've
it.
just taken the Zeppelin, and the Zeppelin is going across London. Bond's got to try and figure out how to intercept that Zeppelin before it
You
gets
could
to
just shoot
Buckingham.
it, but whatever.
Well, I mean, he doesn't have anti-aircraft weapons.
You probably wouldn't need anti-aircraft. You probably just need like a regular gun.
Well,
But go ahead.
essentially, he finds himself like a helicopter, a gyrocopter, a little one-man copter. Gets up
One of
there.
those pedaling copters.
Yeah, he gets one of the pedaling copters here. He lands on top of the Zeppelin. There to meet him is O'Brien, with a bomb strapped to him, 2 razor blades in his hand. And then he comes jumping at Bond. Now, reinvigorated with his own soul searching, is able to...
Did he really do some soul searching? Is it
Yeah.
like he was just kind of like sad for a minute and then was just
Yeah, I
like,
mean...
you're gonna have to get somebody else on the case, and then he was just like, well, I guess I got to stop him.
Hey, this is a movie, Morons.
I
I mean,
know,
there'll
it's stupid.
be some more to the movie. Maybe he'll have like some chick that he has sex with or something.
Yeah,
like
you
normal
haven't even
Bond
had the
stuff.
Bond girl in the movie.
The Bond girl happened in there somewhere. It was Emily Blunt or something.
Okay.
She was a terrorist. Emily Blunt was a terrorist that he met at the party or whatever, and then that's when he
Banged
did
her
all
in
the
the
soul
bathroom
searching when
stall.
he banged her afterwards and stuff. So now Bond is fighting Domhnall Gleeson on top of a Zeppelin. He eventually, grabs Domhnall Gleeson by his bomb wires, tears him off, kicks him off the Zeppelin. Domhnall Gleeson blows up. Razor blades go everywhere. Bond goes down into the Zeppelin, and he just kills his way through hordes of terrorists to finally get to Augustus Cobb, who's piloting the Zeppelin, and they're almost at Buckingham Palace. Vin Diesel goes ahead, he takes a brick, puts it on the Zeppelin pedal or whatever, and it's like, there's nothing you can do to stop this from crashing into Buckingham Palace. We're both going down with the Queen. Bond is like, you're American. Why do you even want to kill the Queen? What does the Queen have against you? And he's just like, I hate government. I love crime. I could kill the president, sure, but people have killed the president. How many people these days and age can say they've killed royalty? So Bond is just like, you're crazy. And he's like, well, you're going to have to kill me. And Bond is like, he'll say something cool like, my only wish is that when I die, I go to hell so I can kill you again. And then so
Not really cool, but
they have some like cool fight with like iron bars or something like that. Pipes or something.
Yeah.
They would have some cool sword fight with some pipes or something like that. Bond is getting in touch with his more down and dirty side, his more Daniel Craig-y
yeah, so he
side.
starts throwing like dirt in his face and stuff like that.
Actually, that's exactly how he beats him. Is Vin Diesel has him on, he's got him on the ground or whatever, and he's just like, I knew that you were too high society to be able to beat me. And Bond is like, the thing about fighting dirty is you got to bring some dirt. And he throws some sand in his eyes, and then he punches his head off or something.
It's like,
No, I don't know. He punches him.
Yeah.
He punches him off the Zeppelin or
Yeah.
something. He throws him off the Zeppelin. Vin Diesel falls to his death. Bond course corrects the Zeppelin here. Lands safely in the English countryside where it doesn't hurt anybody. Saves the day. Everything is fine. The end. Just like a Bond movie. Wraps up nice and tightly.
so it's just a mission.
The villain dies.
There's no like in the previous movies, especially the Daniel Craig movies. It's all about like destiny and like his past.
No destiny.
No,
I
that's
mean,
not-
destiny for him to become more badass or whatever. And throw sand in people's eyes.
Are you gonna incorporate the line "God save the Queen" or something like that?
Yeah, maybe.
He's
Yeah.
just like, God save the
Yeah, like as he's like
then punches
correcting
his
the
head
thing,
off.
he's like, God save the Queen. There you go. Bond would be played by like Andrew Lincoln.
From The Walking Dead?
Yeah, because he could probably play like the real, like, prissy, like British Bond here at the beginning, but then he could kind of go a little bit crazier at the end. Because we know, like, from Walking Dead, he could act like really weird and crazy.
Yeah.
So I want him to be able to play both of those, so that's where I'm going with his Bond.
Okay. So a more crazier Bond.
Crazier Bond, yeah.
Yeah. That sure was a bitch.
Sure was a pitch?
Yes.
All right, you got any alterations or anything like that that you'd rather, that you may want to go a different course on, or?
No.
All right, guys, so that was our pitch for James Bond. The title of the movie is James Bond Overthrown. All right, well, let us know what you think in the comments below about our pitch. If you liked it, awesome. If you didn't, comment anyways. Tell us why it sucked, and make sure you tune in next time for Movie Morons.
Have a good day! First off, we have Star Wars, which features two legendary black characters, in Lando Calrissian and Samuel L. Jackson, Mace Windu. First off, Lando Calrissian, he's off the list. I mean, he betrayed all of his best friends, so, I mean, what are they trying to say about black people, huh? That we can't be trusted?